special.
That's great. I give you, thank you.
They call this special meeting to order. Start off with the roll call. Here. Oh, Bill? Here. BJ? Here. Glenn? Here. Gene here.
Here.
Alex is here too. All right, with consideration of the agenda. Anybody want to tackle that one?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion on the second, any, what's the word, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 4, anybody want to tackle that?
I'll do it.
Alex?
Consideration of an executive session to discuss the matters described below pursuant to CRS 246402-4B for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions from the district's general counsel, CRS 246402-4EI, to determine positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiators and instructing negotiators. 1, the following applications for finding of reasonable diligence. San Juan River intake, originally decreed in 18 CW 145. Most recent diligence in 17 CW 3014. And Dry Gulch Project water rights and Dutton Ditch second enlargement. Most recent diligence in 17 CW 3030. Archuleta County case number 26 CV 30037 and 26 CV 30038. Alleged damage to 103 Dayspring Place, property owner Kenny Beck. Archuleta County case number 24 CV 30069 and county legal relationship to PAWSD.
I'll second that.
I'll second that, but,
Motion on the second, any,
well, I do believe that in his first, A, he said 18-3 versus 8-3.
I stand corrected.
all right.
Correction.
Motion on the second, all in favor to go into executive session?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Refresh my memory, what's next?
Marcus talks to us about turning off the recording.
Yep.
Yeah, we were.
Okay.
Yeah, are we alone? There's nobody else?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
just put the last person in the waiting room.
Okay, so the remainder of the executive session will constitute attorney-client privileged communications, and therefore the recording can be turned off at this time.
I move that we.
Second. We have a motion and second to leave executive session. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. And Alex is already on?
Yeah, I admitted everyone.
Okay, motion passes.
You guys able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So.
Hey, Michael, go chill.
I know, I just, I would actually like. Closed session.
So you want me to move that, we just left executive session, some decisions were made, and I'm to adjourn to the special meeting?
Absolutely. Second. We have a motion on the second to, do any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, let's call the regular meeting to order, and let's do a quick roll call again. Bill?
Bill is here.
DJ? Here. Glenn? Here. Gene here. Alex?
Here.
Virtually, okay. Consideration of agenda is the next thing on the agenda.
I move to accept the agenda as presented.
I hear a second. Motion and a second to accept the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. And now we have to look at the approval of the minutes for June 11th. special and regular meetings and a July 30th special meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look at those? Are there any comments?
I move to approve the minutes from those meetings as presented.
I'll
Motion,
second
do I
that.
hear a second? Was that you, Alex?
Yes, sir. I'll second that.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, now, number 5 on our agenda is a public comment period. And this is meant for things not on the agenda, which yours is, Randall. And we would like to minimize it to 3 minutes.
I understand.
Can you state your name, please?
My name is Suzanne DeBeck, and the issue I have before you has to do with billing, and Renee and Cindy Harris have been very cooperative being over the years. However, they've been on advice of counsel, have declined to provide a certain information that we need, and I'd like to explain why we need it and give you a little bit. If you don't mind, could I hand out some packets?
We won't have time to look at it tonight, but you certainly can.
Well, I would be happy to come back and talk to you after you have time to look at it. And I had requested to get on the agenda a couple of times. You've had a lot of issues before you, and Mr. Bowmer, I'm sorry that I can't hand you a packet, but, and we can provide that. Okay. And,
If you leave it there for me, I will come in, I'll pick it up tomorrow.
okay, so. Ms. Hunter, you rather new, so our historical, institutional knowledge is Director Topgis, because this involves an issue you were involved in over 10 years ago. So I am a resident of the Knolls, and while I used to be on the board, spouses could not be out, so my husband's the president now. So the first little map is a sewer system that we own and operate. So we have this little private sewer system. Justin's not here, PAWSD for years has declined to take it over for very good reasons. And I'm gonna give you some historical knowledge that just to fill you all in. So this is a little map. Recently, you were contracted by the county to do a modeling to add additional hangars. And so this map might help you look at where we are. So we're a town resident up here with the developer in 1994 put in a water system and a sewer system because the town had no kind of reasonable sewer system. It didn't even go up there. Lagoons. And the water system, and this was under a former manager, Joe DeLay, so we're going way back in time, 1994. 1998, PAWSD did take over the water system and operates it to this day. Okay. And so that's why you were requested to do this modeling in order to get fire flow for hangars that were built before the fire flow
And
got
to be
there.
clear, we didn't take it over, right? You petitioned for us to take it on, right?
No, you actually bought it for $10.
No, but I'm saying we didn't go out there and force you into our system.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, it was a collaborative deal, there, you know, yeah, there was no problem on that. When I say take it over, I don't mean that you adversely took it over in any manner. Okay, and so the second topic is just historical, and Mr. Tardis has been involved in this, it's beginning in 2010. And the problem beginning in 2010 is the developer left and sold it to some people that were going to finish the development. He died in an airplane crash a year and a half later, a tragic airplane crash. His wife was distraught, went to see a chiropractor that happened to be the name of Schmidt. So while you have your Fred Schmidt, we have our Jeffrey Schmidt. And our Jeffrey Schmidt was quite similar to his brother, Fred Schmidt. And so he became sort of a shyster in the whole thing, can't defame the dead. He committed suicide.
You've got 1 minute left. Can you condense what you're really
Yes,
here
so,
for?
so
And then
here's
if you
the
need-
billing.
if you
So
need
we
to
have,
If you need
Bill.
to get on the agenda in the future to get more time, but
okay,
condense it if you.
okay. So we have, billings, and I think you're gonna find the billings interesting. Paws made a great, this is only for some of them, the hanger groups. And in the back of them, you can see I have them marked up in my little handwriting. So on one of them, there's 7 hangers on one EU. And we're just not buying that this is a correct billing statement. Because every Friday night they have a big party at one of these hangars. So you can look at these, it's one EU. You're still honoring this great deal you made to them. This is this. And then one of the hangar owners came before you, the next document, and wanted the same deal, claiming it was precedent. And you said, no, the new deal is it's 1 EU per hangar, just like every apartment building, everything else. And so for his own financial benefit, he was trying to get claiming the same deal. Well, he was never a Knowles property owner. He was not entitled to that. He was not entitled to the deal that was made in 1994 when it was a lot for a slot, a pilot community. You bought a lot, you got a slot for a hangar. So in the end, is an email from staff explaining that while this is the only one that pays 1 EU per hangar, he did not pay the CIF charges. So thereafter, he found out, the contractor found out that, oh, gee, if we don't say they're Knowles hangars, they'll get charged 1 EU per hangar. So the next one from Christine Babaldi, the contractor started calling them Knowles hangars. Now, I don't really have a dog in that fight, but if I did, I'd name the bitch subterfuge. So they started calling them Knowles hangars, so they don't pay 1 EU per hangar. So that's kind of, as I said, I don't really have standing there. So our ask is, we're trying to build them and not build them. We're trying to build them for sewer services, because we have this system to maintain.
Now, is that a comprehensive system or is that just a collection that eventually comes to us anyway?
It does come to you. It comes to you at Mountain Vista.
We don't know.
You treat it.
It's a private sewer system.
But I'm just, but when I think of a system,
He has treatment.
it has a
Yeah.
treatment plant. So is this a collection? This is just a collection?
Collection only.
It goes to Mountain Vista. It goes to the mountain.
It's similar to the GID, no treatment. It's just coming to us.
Very similar to the GI.
We
So
own the
there's-
water, but not the sewer.
You're asking
I'm sorry,
excellent
I'm-
questions, because you're asking some of the questions that the hangar owners. So they see on their bill, on the billing statement, that there's a wastewater thing, and they think we're trying to double bill them. They think they're paying you and we're trying to bill them. And we think that what you're charging them is a treatment thing, but we're not GID. And they're not being paid availability. So somewhere in the past, perhaps 2005, this will be my last thing and my last question. Availability to pay off municipal debt became charged, and you started charging us on the sewer system, even though you never knew it. Now, Marlo, who was wonderful, sweet gal, went to somebody and they said, oh, that's right, we're not gonna charge you anymore, but we don't wanna pay you back for
So
the
again,
years that you charged us.
In the interest of saving time, if you feel like you want some input from the board that's gonna take longer than 3 minutes, which we already have,
I'm sorry.
please ask to get on the agenda. All of this will have to be verified. It's gonna take a lot of time. Staff has got a lot on their plate.
I
We've
know.
got a lot on our plate, but can't thank you enough for coming in and providing this information.
Okay, let's look at the very, very last page. So
I'll give you one.
one of them, okay. So one of our one of our residents did file a small claims action. Jim Smith signed it, they got a settlement. I want some information, I'd like to resolve the back billing or not pay, make a deal and not pay the available for water that we're being charged, but the hangers are not being charged. I don't wanna sue you. I don't wanna sue you. You know, look at this stuff.
We appreciate
And,
that.
talk it, but this is what it gets down to. Renee is told by council that she can't give me information that I need. We're a utility provider. And I don't want to sue. You know, they've admitted they made an error, well, I don't know, 2005, and started charging us water, not sewer, well, water too, but sewer availability for a system that we own. So that's my ask, and we have some other hanger information, which Renee is aware of, that we have a proper purpose to need it. So I'm happy to come back to you. I've tried to get on your agenda before, and I understand your agenda is very full. A lot of your plate, you've got people begging you to get exemptions. And you look at these hangars, and there's not one of them, well, there's only one that is still a Knowles resident, and they're still getting this deal. I
Again,
just,
all of this needs to be confirmed.
okay.
The board knows. I know more than you think I know. The board needs to be well educated on this. It may not take board action, it may. But tonight, this is all we.
I got it.
When we appreciate you coming in.
I just needed to come in and somehow let you know there's got this issue out here. I'm happy to deal with it however you wish to do it. Okay.
We appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks.
I will email you tomorrow or Monday and we can discuss your schedule, because I know I'd offered
Okay.
June, but you weren't available. in June, so-
Yes, I wasn't,
Yeah.
I have, okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is comments regarding Pagosa West with Randall Davis. Has everybody read Randall's email? Okay.
And I had a couple extra copies if anybody.
I think we've all got it, Randall.
All right, thank
We've
you.
all read it and good to see you.
Good to see you too. I don't run into you all that often. I've been watching the news on regarding Colorado River Basin drainage system. And I'm sure you guys are
The river compact.
well aware of all this about the huge drought and the water levels dropping in Lake Powell and Lake Mead. And by March of next year, they're into some serious water shortage to where they're not gonna be able to run those generators at full power, maybe 40% if they're lucky. And I just saw a couple days ago that, you know, the 7 states in that river drainage area have had 7 years to come up with a solution because they're running on water rights 100 years back when we've had a lot of weather
103,
seasons. Yeah, so you probably already know all this. The Colorado, New Mexico didn't have to restrict their water, but they gave the other states a 20% figure. They gotta restrict their water usage by 20%. And then right away, there was other people commenting that 20% was gonna show to be inaccurate, insufficient. So they're gonna end up probably having to up that some more. And I got to thinking, you know, it's only a matter of time at the rate we're going, that if those states are gonna get to a point where they just can't restrict any more water, they got millions of people down there that are a pretty big force to reckon with, and sooner or later, they're gonna come after the water up here. They're gonna start going upstream, and they could end up all the way up to us. And I know, well, maybe that's a possibility, maybe it isn't, but I think it's dangerous to just assume that there's always gonna be plenty of water here, because we're up close to the mountains and of the San Juan and everything, but the feds could come up here and start restricting water. And so my point is with this 100-acre deal here, it represents one of several. I guess there's a couple other ones in the works that are of similar size, and it just, I called the town and I talked to Renee a little bit, and it sounds like you guys are mainly concerned with the developers just fulfilling the requirements of the infrastructure that you guys need.
Not quite true, but go ahead.
Okay, well, you can enlighten me then.
Sure.
It seemed like that's kind of where the town was, where they just want to make sure that these developers build out according to what your specifications are and requirements and everything. You know, a certain number of fire hydrants, and I'm sure it's way more complicated than all that. But it's frustrating to me. It seems like at some point it would be really nice to be able to study this to the point where we could start to dial back some of these developers that were coming in here. And I don't mean to sound like I'm gonna slam the door on all the people that really like it and everything, but sooner or later, we're gonna run out of available water. And the people, you guys are already, having to fight for trying to get adequate sewer improvements as well as water. It sounds like you're doing okay for now, but with the water availability, but at any rate, I just, for example, I think that 100-acre, what is that, Pagosa West, is that the name of it? Those guys are out of Albuquerque, I think, aren't they?
Mine,
No.
Junction.
Junction, oh, yeah, okay.
Montreal.
In other words, they're not locals, they're coming in here to make money. As soon as they make their money, then they're out of here if they don't go bankrupt or sell it to somebody else that has a whole different viewpoint on it. You guys have all seen this, I've been here long enough to see it, the cycles several times, kind of boom and bust. It seems to me like each time it's gonna be a little more serious, and I think for judging from the planes that are landing at the airport, where you live right off the edge of the runway, there's lots of big jets, lots of big money coming in here, so. Anyway, I'm just, I would be, I would rest a little more assured that if you guys were, keeping track of that and being able to, at some point, just realize that we're getting to the end of this relatively unchecked development in terms of not just land usage, but water availability and needs. And it's already impacting the people that have already been here. I was on the, last year, I was on the board, the volunteer board for Road and Bridge. And those guys are way behind. It's mainly money, we've got some great guys in there. They know what they're doing, they know what they want, but they just don't have the money. I mean, they told me they spent over $250,000 last year just on fuel to haul gravel over here. Their fuel cost them more than $260,000, something like that. And they can't keep up, and of course, our road's way at the bottom end of that. I'm not sure it'll ever be up to rural county road standards, but and then the school district, I was on the school board for 24 years, and there's just never enough money.
And now you drive the school bus.
Yeah, and I did that for 24 years too. So anyway, I've said enough, I think. Oh, I did mention in there, those 10 Colorado mountain towns and total collapse, and then 10 Colorado mountain towns and total free fall. That seems a little bit extreme. It's on YouTube. So if you go on YouTube, it goes in there, because Pagosa Springs as well as Durango is at both of those.
So don't believe everything you see on YouTube.
I'm saying, yeah, and I said here, even if you're just saying, okay, the truth most likely is in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
But it makes the point there are real limits to responsible. There just comes a point where you can't do it Because we don't have the resources, we don't have the money, and I'm seeing, you know, Roadrunner going off the edge of the cliff and thinks he's still running on solid ground, and I don't want us
That's
to
the
get
coyote.
coyote, that's, I don't want,
We know what you meant.
yeah, I don't want us to be doing that and all of a sudden go, oh my gosh, I wish we'd have cut this back, you know, a year or two ago, so. I'm just encouraging you guys to maintain some awareness about the severity of all this stuff. I've never seen it this dry ever by far. All our ponds on that ranch are dry. The guys that has cattle up there is hauling water every other day all the way from our base. Our well went dry last week. So,
Can I make a comment or two?
yeah, absolutely.
My goal is to hopefully help you sleep better.
Good, that would be nice.
First comment about the YouTube video, if you watch it real close, then there are some very good points made in it. But if you watch it real close, they have light rail in Pagosa, there's a train going by.
Oh, I know, some of that stuff
Yeah,
is
so,
not accurate.
but they do make some good points. Let's take Pagosa West as a good example. Anytime anyone, anything or any entity comes into the district or comes to the district, and it just so happens that that 93 acres has been in the district almost forever. So we do owe them something.
Mhm.
That's something we owe them, I believe, correct me staff if I'm wrong, is 1 EU. They're probably gonna come asking, let's just make a couple of guesses. They're probably gonna ask for 50 or 100 EUs. That immediately triggers a water model. We've got tens of thousands of dollars invested in this huge water model software. And what the water model software does is puts something, a water user on every lot, even vacant ones in the district. So it takes the current district, which today doesn't include Aspen Springs, doesn't include Teowakan, doesn't include San Juan River Village, today's district, puts something on every lot, a water user on every lot. And then it says, and it puts water usage in whatever it is, 200 gallons a day or 8 gallons a minute, whatever it is. And it spits out this information. And that water model is an extremely useful, not only does it say you have enough water rights or water plants, is the water pipe going into Pagosa West large enough for the fire flow that the fire department, not PAWSD, the fire department says they're gonna need? So when it comes back and says you have these deficiencies, then PAWSD's answer to this developer, and again, stop me if I am off base. It's quite possible that Pagosa West overtaxes our raw water supply.
Mhm.
They have to bring water rights with them. Whether they come from Dutton Ditch, San Juan River, they've got to supply all the deficiencies at their full expense and not at our expense.
Oh, that's good.
And so again, I'm making some really silly analogies, but let's say their fire flow is X. And we can't provide them X with our existing infrastructure. To get them to X, they would have to replace the 8-inch water line with a 12-inch, maybe all the way up to Lake Hatcher, or maybe to this office or something. So our goal has always been growth has to pay its way. And so when we get to the point where more water rights, and you just, I think maybe heard us talking about water rights a little bit. We are always, we're talking about doing due diligence on certain water rights right now. And there'll be new opportunities in the future. There'll be developers, just like Ralph Eaton back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And the others that have come, especially now, you know, we're not a young district anymore. So I feel personally, I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but we're pretty conservative and take the obligation we have to all of our customers, which includes all of us in this room, well, except for Nate. Everybody in this room, we have a promise and an obligation to. And cause I think we're pretty serious about protecting that. So, you know, Pagosa West isn't gonna be the last one. Is Aspen Springs gonna come in someday?
Yep.
They've been talking about it for about 25 years. Never serious, but you know, we don't have a marketing department where we go and, you know, come on, you want our water, don't you? You know, we don't have that marketing department. People who have the need and the want and the wherewithal will come to us and we'll study the heck out of it and help if we can, but not at the expense of us.
So I'd like to bounce off of some of the ideas that Gene's throwing out. The park ditch has water rights of 60 CFS. And our district can run on 3 CFS. So if we need water rights to serve a development, and they can connect up with a ranch to get those water rights, there's fabulous water rights in this community. We don't own them. The agricultural users own them. And a lot of them are trophy ranches. A lot of them are water users who are just watering their grass so that they can get a property tax discount. So there's a lot of water in this community that we don't have access to yet. But if Pagosa West can get access to some water rights, we could have more water as a result of them coming on board.
As long as it keeps snowing in the high country.
Well, there's still water rights. There's still water rights.
Well, yeah, but the water rights don't do you much good if there's not water available.
Right.
That's
Well,
all
if that
assuming
happens,
there's a bunch
we're
of
all
water.
in big shit.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And it's,
water's gonna be high up there, but maybe not our biggest worry. We have a question, Justin, did you have a question?
I didn't have a question. I just want to make clarification. Our raw water modeling our modeling that we do does not look at raw water. It is simply for the infrastructure from the plant down.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify.
I stand corrected.
Well, if I could add a few things. One is that we've had growth in the district, and I'm not for growth, and I'm not anti-growth. A good example of that would be a project came forward that a lot of people were excited by, and a lot of people opposed. And that should take place, the debate about that at the town of Pagosa Springs, Archuleta County, the planning departments of both governments to decide, you know, whether it's the comprehensive plan, the community plan, or even in the case of the executive boards, the exigencies of the time. Then it came forward to us because they were getting preliminary approvals, even though it was a very dramatically big plan. It's not our responsibility once the county and the town and the planning boards approve a project to decide we don't personally like this project. I mean, boards can do that. I don't think that's transparent. I don't think that's honest for a utility board to put their own preferences in and pick and choose amongst projects. That's for the community to do through the commissioners in the town of Pagosa Springs. And join the county right now is recruiting people for the comprehensive plan. But what we did do to make sure it was responsible growth is we priced out the actual cost of that development to our existing customers and presented them with Justin did a lot of the work with a preliminary figure for what that would really cost. And we've not really heard from them since. Now, there are other people at the town and at the county who, and you can agree with them or not, they believe through taxing and financing, urban development areas, all sorts of mechanisms, give out 25-year tax rebates to promote growth. We don't do that. So I think a lot of your argument really needs to take place at the town of Pagosa Springs and Archuleta County.
I understand what you're saying. And you know, I get that there's it's multi-layered here. Interestingly, I started with the town and they referred me to you. So,
You know, because it's really popular.
yeah, I know, that's exactly
It's
what's
popular
going
to
on.
make us the bad guys, but let me put it like in raw terms. What goes to West, it's come in various incarnations, I don't know exactly what it is, it was something, then it was nothing, and now it's a little bit of something. But let's say that it's 200 EUs of water, which is a massive amount of water. When you consider density bonuses, apartment buildings and all that, it's probably gonna be closer to 100. But if it's say 150 over 20 years, you know, that's 8 EUs of water over 20 years. Like per year. Well, the other growth in the community, which a lot of us might prefer or like, is projected to be about 150 units of growth per year. Now, let's say it's really gonna be 120 because growth is slowing. How do we pick and choose and say, well, the 120 lots that are developed here are the good growth, but the 8 units here are the growth that we prefer not to have, even though it might have affordable housing, workforce housing, might have dense apartments that make more efficient use of that water than say 120 single family homes on a half acre. So
I know, I get that, and I've been thinking about it too, and asking myself, okay, so what would you do to try to? I don't wanna say limit growth, cause I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat, same position you are. You know, it's terms of not being anti-growth or necessarily pro-growth, but somewhere in the middle. But yeah, I don't know how you would really rectify that or deal with that problem. If somebody's gotta, I don't know. And
Well, we just have to keep a mindful eye on what our resources are. Like you say,
I think that's what my point originally was, just needing some reassurance from you guys, and it's working. I
I'm just
appreciate
saying, you
it.
don't, I say this all the time, PAWSD is potentially the most dangerous board in the community by far. 3 members of this board. Yes, we have to jump through some hoops and we have to publish some things and we have to get some consultants to give us, but we can build a $200 million reservoir within a year. We just have to raise everybody's rates up from, you know, roughly $50 a month to $120 a month or 100, you know. We could be an anti-growth board and we could, using bureaucracy and again, using studies and consultants and lawyers, and we could kind of sabotage growth. But is that what we want? Even if the result is, say you want lower growth, do you want to get at it through that way? Or do you want to get at it through the Board of County Commissioners, the town of Goshen Springs, elected officials? Yeah, I just think that's the better place to go if you know. And this is gonna sound nuts, but water is not the biggest problem. We're selling the same amount of water, 1,200 acre feet a year, that we sold in 1999.
With 30% growth.
Yeah, roads, traffic, pollution,
LPEA.
all of the other things that, you know.
Oh, I get it. There's a whole bunch of different channels.
And we'll be at a tipping point where the growth starts to lead, because there were efficiencies from pricing and from appliances and all sorts of things that have kept it like this. And it will probably start going up, not in a 1-to-1 correlation, but it's not gonna stay flat forever, so you're right. But I don't think you want us, 3 people on this board, kind of pulling the strings in this community. What happens, what doesn't happen.
No, I
We
always
could, really, I mean.
I was thinking of a more broad-based representative. I don't know if you'd call it a board or just what, but yeah, surely I wouldn't expect or think you guys would be in a position to dial up or down any kind of growth, any more than just the county or just the town would. It would have to be kind of a conglomerate, group cooperative effort.
Well, some people think we did. You know, I mean, our sewer rates, we kept them the lowest rates in the state for 10 years. And then the state told us that we have to start producing wastewater at such a low degree of nitrogen because they're very concerned about nitrogen in the Stolstein. It was a very odd decision. So we had to decide how to apply all those costs. So we applied them half to our customers and half to growth, and that fee went from $798, something like that, up to $16,000. So a lot of people think that we are trying to kill the growth. But our other option was to raise our customers' rates today from $50 to $120 a month.
Mm.
So a lot of people complaining about our killing growth and affordability are developers. Because
Yeah.
they love the average customer in Pagosa to pay $120 a month to pay the full cost of the infrastructure.
Oh, of
So,
course,
you know,
yeah.
so.
And if, like Bill alluded to a little bit ago, there's many ditch companies, and you might even be a part owner in one, I don't know.
I wish we don't have any
Okay.
irrigation. Yeah.
But there are many ditch companies throughout the county that have extremely senior water rights. We can't touch it. And it would be interesting to see if you can cross the San Juan River at Hot Springs Boulevard and almost not get your ankles wet right now.
Oh, yeah.
But if you would go 2, 3, 4, 5 miles upstream, there's a lot more water in that river. And that's because everybody's pulling their fair share and their legal share out. So, you know, there are other sources. Again, I think you know me well enough. I'm not gonna try and screw this community ever. And it doesn't matter if Ralph Eaton comes in again, or Pagosa West, or whom. Our goal or our mission is not to slow down or control or speed up growth or whatever. It's to keep, and Alex, who sits here, has said this many times, keep the best interest of our customers always at heart. And we try to do that. And that's why some developers come in and they've, and I've heard in California, if you wanted to build Pagosa West in California, and I don't know if this is true or not, you wouldn't build a hospital, but you put a couple million in a hospital fund, $500,000 in a park fund, another couple million in a interstate exit ramp. That's why I guess there's not so much growth happening out there right now. Here, it's still relatively, I understand, economical to develop compared to California.
But if you even look at the punch list of system upgrades that Justin gave in affordable housing, and then we asked him to come up with these, an affordable housing development. They kind of, it was quite a bit of money. Now, the punch list of a development that might be 20 times that size, or even off-site implications, is gonna be extremely high, let alone pipe upgrades, lift stations. Now, again, why I say go back to the county, you go back to the town, is if the county and the town decide to use our sales tax and property tax dollars to give it to these developments, then you will get development that, is not responsible or is not graceful. So, hold us to this, but I think we're pretty fair. And we make some, and you can talk to some of the developers that we're not there, they think we're unfair in the other direction.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that you're keeping the people here in mind, when you're making decisions. That's what really worked for me for the 24 years on the school board. It made it a lot less contentious when, people are everybody's coming up with their own thing they want you to do. And what really helped me and the rest of the board members was when we said, okay, let's just, it all boils down to whatever we decide boils down to what is best for the kids in the school. And that sometimes got you through the fog of all of the other stuff going on. It made it a lot easier to really make a decision that you could look back on and say, yeah, that was the right thing to do.
And I
Glad to
think,
hear that you said the same thing.
I think that maybe this is call it you want, a perfect storm or whatever, but if you've been reading the paper or going to other, county board meetings, the county is required by law every so often to update their, what's it called? I call it a future plan, but it's got an actual name. Comprehensive future plan.
Community plan of the county. And
They used to call it a community plan, it's now called a comprehensive plan.
Okay. There are a few items within that big name. One of them is future water. And I'm assuming they're talking about for fishing, recreation, agriculture, whatever, and then housing is another one, and so I think that's the committee or the group that needs to hear your concerns and our concerns and everybody's. Roads is huge, water is huge. Affordable housing has been a big problem for quite some time. So I would say all of our efforts should be focused there. And then I'm assuming it'll trickle down to,
So are you talking about them, an entity that they share, or is it just the total of all those county and town and?
The county's doing a comprehensive plan for the unincorporated parts of the county.
Okay, yeah.
The town has their own comprehensive plan for the town,
which doesn't include water.
which doesn't include water, but it will.
Okay, good.
And so right now I just had a meeting last night with the community to get ideas. But they're also looking for input. They're doing a survey. You can talk to the planning director and make an appointment with Eva and talk with her about it, and share your ideas with her. That doesn't have to do with Pagosa West because that's in the town, so that's a town decision. But the county's making a new plan that's gonna have water concerns addressed. So that you.
And they all have public meetings. The Daily Post, the Sun, all kinds of blogs, I assume, have, come to this meeting tonight because they're gonna be talking about this. It's not just a few people sitting at a board, doing this. They want our input. I've been to a couple, Bill's probably been to all of them. I think that's the entity who needs to hear not only yours, but concerns from the community as a whole.
So are you guys a part of that then? Do you have input to the comprehensive plan?
The district will have some input into the water section of the plan.
Cause
Hopefully.
I think they need your expertise as well.
Oh, they need ours and many others.
Yeah.
People who love to fish, people who love to kayak, ranches who want more water. When we think of water, it's not just what we drink and put on our lawn, it's so many
Oh,
other.
yeah, something like 70% of the Colorado River is going to agriculture.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
You'd
it's
be
not just
surprised
one
how many cubic feet per second
Yeah.
out of the San Juan River in this county go to agriculture. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And that's because they have the water rights and the legal authority to do so.
Well, that's good information. I'll go with that. Yeah, I've taken enough of your time, so.
Okay, Alex had a question. Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of, since I'm not in the room, give my 2 cents on this one. And I agree with most of everything that Glenn said. My opinion on this is, and the way I can promise that I will vote on this if it gets presented to us is and Gene, I appreciate you saying it. I care about our existing customers. Those are the top priority. And as long as it does not negatively affect our existing customers, I'll vote to support it. But what is that going to take to make it not negatively affect our customers? I think it's going to take a lot. And if they're not willing to play ball, I'm not interested in giving them anything for free or even just taking their money without getting the proper upgrades that are necessary.
Good.
So.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in.
Yes.
It's good to see you.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for pulling up a chair. Thanks for pulling up a chair.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Chief. You bet.
Okay, next,
Thanks for helping me too.
Oh, hey.
All right.
Me too.
next, number 5. we've got some applications for finding a reasonable diligence on some water rights. And I think we're gonna need a motion and a vote on 3 different water rights.
So I took the liberty of writing it out per Kendall's email.
Okay.
So if somebody wanted to read that, but thought that
I
might be
think
helpful.
Bruce wants to.
I wanted to print it out, but I'm not having
He's good at
trouble
reading
printing
stuff.
something from my laptop. So
Okay, again, this is
hopefully you can read my cursive.
kind of like what we were just talking about a couple minutes ago. Water rights that the district has, some of our water rights are, excuse me, perfected. Others are conditional, and every so often we have to show the state that we are diligently either utilizing them or moving towards that, so I'll accept any motions that you might want to make, VJ.
All right, I make a motion that we authorize the filing of the application for finding of reasonable diligence for the San Juan intake originally decreed in 8-3 CW 145, most recent diligence in 1-7 CW 3014.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion from the board?
Yeah, I'd like the public to know that this diligence process is connected not with the water rights that we have absolute already,
Correct.
but these are future water rights that may be developed at some point when PAWS needs them. If someone opposes these, it could be very expensive for the district to protect these water rights that we're not using, that we may need in the future. And if there is opposition, it will come back to the board and we will be able to make a decision if we want to fight in court to keep these water rights. Hopefully, there's no opposition. It will be not too expensive to file these filings.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion passes. So that takes care of number A. How about number B?
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the filing of the application for finding a reasonable diligence for the Dry Gulch project water rights.
I will second that.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like some discussion here. I'm not proposing to modify the motion for the application. And I'm very likely to vote for it, but I do want to just publicly, since I've been involved with this project for too long, express my hope that this filing is based on San Juan's promise that they made to us 10 years ago, that they are searching out federal, state, corporate, tribal partners to find funding for a reservoir for broad community needs. Pretty much encapsulated in their Wilson Water Group survey, which has agricultural, piscatorial, environmental, recreational, and 3 different possible needs for drinking water, which I think is fine. I certainly just want to say, I'm going to vote for it. I certainly hope it's not based on the old Steve Harris projections that this district, which sells 1,200 acre feet of water, and isn't even using any water from an 1,800 acre foot reservoir, needs a 10,000 acre foot reservoir. So I just strongly hope that this application is based on San Juan's currently stated plans for a very broad based reservoir.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I think it's unanimous. Motion passes. And BJ, would you like to take a shot on number C?
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the filing of the application for finding of reasonable diligence for the Dutton Ditch second enlargement. Most recent diligent in 17CW 3030.
I'll second that.
Motion, do I hear a second?
Now accepted.
Motion and a second, and any discussion?
Yeah, I would encourage a future board to get complete report on these diligence filings. Not at a meeting 2 weeks before the filing is due, but a good coverage of why these are important, why we're spending money on them, what would happen if we didn't spend the money, and so that the board is fully informed about, for example, the Dutton Ditch second enlargement. I have no idea what that is. I'm about to vote yes on it, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's important to the community. I don't know if we're gonna spend $10,000 or $100,000 on it. And I would encourage a future board to get a very, very good report on these diligence filings before the board takes them up on a vote.
Justin Ramsey, could the Dutton Ditch second enlargement water rights, those are currently being used for, or at least partially used for the actual Dutton Ditch enlargement. Is that correct?
So there's two rights associated with that. One, there's 8 CFS, which is absolute, and then there's 20. There's actually 40 CFS that we own 20, and the San Juan owns 20 that are not absolute. And so what they're filing on is those in our case are those 20 CFS out of the 4 Mile Creek.
For the enlargement.
Yeah, when all that was put in, whenever that was done. But yeah, so that's right now we typically are using our 8 CFS for filling Hatcher and Stevens.
But I support Bill here, because had I been able to look at the actual application for the Dry Gulch project water rights, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be in some doubt about what the basis for the application is, so.
Well, I will certainly relay those comments to your attorneys.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, thanks.
I mean, we're not gonna have to do it again for 6 years.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be
I
a
won't
future
be
board.
here.
You
I
won't
can
be here.
guarantee that.
Andy will still be here, hopefully. But that would be for a future board.
All right, if there's no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous? Motion passes. Okay. Number 7. Consideration of the presentation of our second quarter financial statements and debt service update. Is that you, Jack?
That's me.
Yes, it is.
I want to be as thorough as you guys want to go through that, but I kind of put a little narrative behind it. And I mean, if you're okay, I'm just gonna give you the high, the high bullet points from my perspective. General fund, still very healthy. Don't think we have any real issues there, but the keynote that I take away from that is it's independent of the enterprise funds, and the enterprise funds are where the debt service concern is.
I'm so sorry, I have to run. I have another appointment. I have to go to.
You're-
Thanks.
I think you should walk.
Okay, I'll walk. Thanks. Good meeting, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, bro.
In regards to the general fund, I mean, our property taxes, they look like they're way out in front of our skis and at like 70-something%. They're very heavily weighted on the first half of the year, so they taper off. I'm not saying that we're behind or anything. I'm just saying we're right on track, even though it looks like that we're ahead of the game. I'm gonna kind of go over to the water fund. The concerns on the water fund, I've kind of labeled out what's in there. but something that's not on this, and I guess a good call out too. These numbers are as of the end of June. We are now in the middle of August. There has been one change from what I told you guys last period in regards to the general insurance. I told you that we paid the big premium in January, and at the time that's a true statement. And then we pay small amounts, so it's going to increase each period. The snowball plant went live, and I did not tell you that the snowball plant was going live. I haven't even made the payment yet to our insurance, but we did have to put in an additional, it's right shy of 19,000 that is in the general insurance liability. It's not in this narrative because it hasn't hit as opposed to this at the point in time of this narrative. On that note, and I don't know, it's going to be prorated. So that was prorated for the second half of the year. It's actually went in July 31st or August 1st is when the premium was started. When Vista finishes, I'm gonna have something there that I don't know exactly how much is, and it's also part of that general liability, general property liability. So we should expect that that's going to have another increase that was above that general insurance line item. Really, everything else is pretty much the same message as I had last quarter. Revenues are not where they were budgeted. We've senior leadership and the operations group is doing a good job on cost management, trying to maintain. And I mean, that's the same storyline that goes through the water and the wastewater. So those are both our enterprise funds. They are consolidated together when you do the debt service calculations. I did put in here that debt service estimate at 1.5 or 1.15. That was before that $20,000 additional hit. That's a full percentage. So, I mean, we're at a place that my crystal ball and where my revenue is going to be, what type of expenses are going to hit. It's still, it's still tight. We're tracking where we need to be. The debt service minimum is 1.1, and we're good there. We did have another change, and I say another change. The other piece of that is our debt service calculation. We're using this year's calculation, and next year there is it's a fairly significant, it's $540,000 increase on our 2027 debt. So next year we've got a harder hurdle to jump in regards to the debt requirement, which is the denominator portion of that debt service calculation. Really, I'm kind of hitting the highlights there. If you've got specific questions, any specific line items or anything.
The second quarter report will go up on the website.
Whatever we did with the first one, it's part of the minutes, so it's included in the minutes. I don't believe we did anything separate other than just including the narrative and the review as part of the minutes last time.
I thought we had a request to make it easily available on the website. Maybe I'm wrong. Any reason why it can't be?
I don't have an issue with it if the board's good with it.
So we're saying, just to understand what you're asking, it's available to the public now.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
But
how we make it available.
we're asking to make it more readily available, is that?
Yeah. There's a finance page on the website that has the audit, the rate studies, budget, probably has past year's budgets.
I guess my concern, like when you go to the PAWSD website, the thing that kind of pops up to kind of warn you about what level of things we're in, stuff like that. considering what small portion of the community is asking for access to the finances and they're available, I think I would rather see the people who want that information just maybe call versus make another pop-up or something like that that gets in the way of somebody who actually needs something that
Well,
is
do
a
they-
service to offer. I'm just saying to know, I feel like there's a lot, the broader portion of the community, when they enter our website, are not looking to readily access finances. As long as it's available on the website, if 1% of our community wants it, being 40 people, I would rather have those 40 people call and figure out how to get to it than I would make it a nuisance for those who are actually trying to receive the services they want or get hold of staff for something.
Well, if it's on our agenda and our board packet, they don't even have to call.
100%.
Am I correct?
The board packets go out to the email address and they do go on the website. I have to check on how long they stay attached to the meeting. But we could most certainly put it on the finance page.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, oh, I want to check out the PAWSD finances.
Yeah.
You could find it and you could find Q1, Q2.
I would just prefer they don't have to call and ask for it. They could go to the page where, or if they wanna know, get on that email list. Where everybody who's on that list gets sent the board packet, correct?
It's just as, yeah, and it's just as easy for us to put it on the finance page once it's complete. And
It's complete and I can hand it over. My contention is I don't own that portion of the process and don't know how that piece works.
so it,
But if we're comfortable, I mean, we have it. It's not something that we're looking to hide in the minutes or
no,
it's readily available.
And I guess that's all that I'm saying is that if we can easily make it more readily available or available for longer in the minutes or whatever, I would be a pro that, or making sure it's on the finance page.
yeah, I think
I
it would
just-
be cleaner to be
Yeah,
in the
finance page.
finance page than stuck on a meeting link deep inside of a board packet.
Which again, and that's why I'm just saying,
Might be
when we
easy.
say readily available, I just wanna make sure it's not.
Carl,
popping up when you come on.
I see you have a question, Carl?
Yes, I just have a comment. I think in the interest of transparency, you should put it on the finance page. I mean, it's in no way going to obscure anyone trying to get any sort of service from the community. All it does is perhaps raise a concern that the board is trying to hide something. And I don't think you want that because you're making it all public. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's available already even without the website, but sounds to me like it's maybe easier for the public if it's on the website.
Yeah, yep. And I think the best place to put it was probably not the pop-up because that's really for more emergency things right now. We have the drought taken down and the fill stations are up.
I agree.
Just my thought, and then, but finance seems to be the most logical. Jean, when you and I used to do the website, we had like that front page. And it didn't really have a dashboard, but we would put the most timely things right there, like if we had audited financial statements and we had. Whatever the budget and draft budgets, and all that's where it would go. So now we keep things kind of more better organized, and I think the finance page would be the best, most logical place, and Carl seems to agree that that's where folks like him who are looking for those materials would find them.
That doesn't need a motion.
No, right?
It's just staff direction.
Consider yourself directed.
Ken, I just have a few questions.
Go ahead, Glenn.
One is so the $123,000 grant that wasn't budgeted. That's good news.
It was budgeted and this is actually a bill request that we create we separate other revenue. Because grant revenue is a one-time event, not part of a debt service calculation.
Right.
So it was budgeted, it was budgeted in an other revenue line.
And with a bunch of slash in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it it's just been broken out after that's for presentation so that it's more visible. And it was also broken out because it's not part of that debt service calculation, where the other revenue, it was a bunch of services of, a bunch of activity that was included.
Okay,
So,
and that snowball fuel and power is up at 118%. And San Juan costs are extremely low. Is that just an artifact of when materials are purchased?
Yeah, and
You would think we'd be
we're not
on
very
San
far.
Juan pretty hard.
Yeah, but we're not very far in. We still have a couple months running on that. We also, the power costs have dropped for the River and Trujillo pump station because we did put some VFDs down there. They used to be line hard start, and we got hit really hard from LPEA with power costs when we would bring that equipment on. And now everything stays stable. The other thing that helps, Glenn, is we are consistent for the past couple months where we've been in drought. I have directed staff to run right at that 1 million gallon per day. So we're not fluctuating up and down. We're letting San Juan stay the same. And Hatcher just take up the actual demand that's needed, because my priority is to keep the water in the lake up there at Hatcher. So that's also helpful.
This maybe is more for budgeting going forward. I don't know exactly where the forecast for wastewater availability fees came from. Maybe it came from rate study. In that rate study itself, it was a little bit of an erratic item. But if this is actually capturing the full 6 months, we shouldn't be at 43.8 unless people are like protesting and not paying. That's one of those items that's 49.9 or 50.1 because it's just a math problem.
help me with this logic. So, there was a House bill at the state level that was passed in regards to consolidating lots. And it had something to do with, you're gonna tax at a residential, and the property is supposed to have, a actual physical driveway, a physical, part of the property's on a vacant lot. But to consolidate those lots, you now need to go through the county consolidating those lots, and there's a significant tax difference. It's like 6.8 if it's a residential to 26%.
I'm talking about the availability.
You know that availability, there's been quite a few consolidations. So my volume of available customers has decreased. And that's not one.
Consolidation.
Yeah, it's consolidations. It's playing a large piece of that. Think you also asked a question last year in regards to assessed value. That was during the budget stuff. It's what I've been kind of reviewing and going over, and why assessed values were what they were. And I think that plays a big difference as well. Because at 6.8, if that's like a 70% swing on my taxes coming in.
I understand that, but the availability fee is a per EU fee. No, I understand.
The EU
I
would be fine.
understand consolidation. That would be an awful lot of consolidations to move it, 6.2% up ultimately 12 to 13% 1 year. That's, we have, I don't know how many. That'd be hundreds and hundreds of consolidations since our budget, and I can't imagine it's been that many. So I'm just
Well,
saying.
it's following that same, so you're really looking at more than 1 year.
Yeah,
You're looking at the consolidations that have happened over the course of multiple years, and then they use that rate study from 3 years ago, I believe.
well, that's what I'm saying. If you
And
do
it
the rate
building
study on
on the rate
availability,
study.
it's not, you really just have to say, go into how many availabilities do we have on December 3rd? How many availability accounts? And multiply it by so much a month times 12. And yeah, I'm sure you'll get 30 or 40 consolidations a year that will hit it, but I don't think we're gonna be that far off because of consolidations. Because at that rate, we'll have no, at that rate,
You're 30 to 40 a year in the course of 3-4 years, you're now at 100 plus.
Maybe we should look at that number, Chuck.
The consolidations.
Well, maybe that too. If they come across Shelley's desk and we typically, do we get those? We do get those.
The easiest, well,
I mean, you can ask the county.
Anyway, that's just,
yeah, the county would be the way to go.
again, it was just for entering the budget, just let's. You know.
So the percent, just so I understand, you're saying that the 100% was based off the number of available lots 3 years ago.
Based off that rate study and whatever type of growth and concept they've had in there.
Okay.
Yes, it was a rate study populated line item.
Okay.
Oh, then I'm not mystified any longer. I'll leave it at that.
I just want to clarify, because I thought that's what you were saying, but, and then, like I said, that just, like you said, I think that makes a lot more sense when we're like,
Yeah.
I think everyone was under the impression that you physically changed it, or whoever did it before, every single year, and out of 100% from December of last year, we're down that much, versus 3, so that makes a lot more sense. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I was just saying, this budget, we just go in, just like we know, to the, you know, how many EUs, how many availability counts in wastewater, and what are we charging now? $22 a month, or anyway, it's a math problem, just take that number times that, times 12, and I think we'll get a lot closer. So, and then when you get that number about the consolidations, it'd be nice to know that, because that's could be, okay, it could be an annoyance, or it could be a big problem.
Well, but there's also only so many of those that can happen,
Right.
because obviously you have so many houses, but consolidation was huge. I mean, when we were on the PLPOA, it was at least 15 per year, and that's just in PLPOA.
Right.
Okay.
We're also seeing a lot of subdivisions too, subdividing. Seeing that as well, so
that
it'd be good, right, yeah, one would offset the other, you would think, to some extent, and the potential back availability in those circumstances as well. I can contact the county, cause I already talked to that office anyway. And I'll get the consolidation and the subdivision numbers for the next meeting. Okay.
Then that gives you a number, and then it's a simple math problem, but then you do take the allowance, you project how many consolidations there'll be, and make that deduction, and okay. All right, that's all I have, although I have, others are just. But so.
Okay, next is consideration of the draft 2027 budget schedule, which we all have in our board packet.
A lot of work.
Yeah, a
We're
lot
gonna be busy over the next couple of months.
of target timelines and.
A lot of target timelines, and I mean, I'm fully expecting that each time that I come in here for the next couple of months while we're going through the budget process, there's gonna be adjustments on here. I went through, tried to figure out everything that was a requirement to be completed, and made sure that it made the budget or made the schedule. But I also know, and I mean, another one, kind of speaking with the insurance people in this last week, that last year we didn't get the insurance information until after the deadline of when I said that we're actually gonna do the review. So there's gonna be some adjustments on here. I just wanted it as transparent and something that you guys can look at, and we can kind of communicate where we're at while we're going through the process. So it's a tool. Hopefully, if it's done well and I've got a good schedule, it's a tool I can use next year, and I'm not, completely adding. But you'll see on, I guess, that second page, I intentionally left the blank on 1.8, the next item, because there's going to be stuff that I did not capture that needs to be done. So this is going to be a living working schedule.
Yeah, staff will update the board every month as we come into presenting the draft, just so we can keep you all informed. And this schedule allows upper senior staff a timeline as well, so nothing's dropped. Jack and I are both new, working together on this budget, so just having a clear, concise timeline as we work through this is.
You know, some staff knows what deadlines they have to meet your deadlines, to meet our deadlines.
Yeah, and this is shared all the way down to our supervisors, so they know the expectations as we're getting closer and closer to the draft, so nothing is missed and everyone is informed.
Sounds like a pretty good roadmap to success to me.
Questions answered months ahead versus all at once. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, 2026 drought management. plan
Yes,
update and proposed violation letters. Has everybody had a chance to look at those? And
Just one more thing, Gene.
Oh, sure.
What did you say? Sorry.
We were gonna look at rate study.
Oh, yes, would you like to direct staff to start looking at rate study for 2027 again? When we went out this year, we didn't get a lot of traction on it. We're not sure if it was just the time of year that was an issue. We only had one engineering firm reach out, so would the board like us to go ahead in this third, fourth quarter to look and see, reach out again for another rate study in 2027?
I mean, you think that, you know, you might get more applicants earlier before they're committed? I think we're pretty confident that it's just, we can use business common sense for using the existing rate study, its strengths and its weaknesses, and we can just use business common sense to make some calls about the rates next year, but for 2028, it might be nice to it can't hurt.
Yeah, I don't see any negative impact to it, to just
Right.
see, maybe we caught it, we did it at the beginning of the year, and maybe
No,
we
no,
just caught them
just
in
want to
already.
Jack, and if Jack sees a firm that he likes and he's excited to work with, and if he doesn't see anyone, okay, we'll try again.
The only challenge I foresee with that is it's a $60,000 price tag, $55,000 price tag. And we're either budgeting for it or we're not. So that would be we can be conservative and I'm all for that, budget for it and not spend it.
Right.
That's the prudent thing, but you know, if we're gonna be going up against some struggles as well, that would be my only 2 cents.
I think the answer to your question is yes, though.
Okay.
Because there's, I mean,
But given that reality,
Yeah, I see no negative in it.
you're probably gonna say, yes, I wanna work with this person. If you see someone you really like and you wanna work with, and if you're not, then it's something maybe we don't do and don't put in the budget. It's probably gonna be kind of your call, give us a sense.
Okay.
okay. Back to the drought management plan update and proposed violation letters. I think you said we've all seen the letters and are familiar with the plan update, so give us anything else that you want to highlight?
It was really just cleanup on that and to see if, the last discussions we had was the board would like to look at maybe implementation closer to stage 3, that we have really good compliance right now. Our water sales were actually down in July. Revenue not so great, but that means that our education out to the public is working. So I just wanted to get a little bit more guidance. Is that still the proposition of what the board wants to do, is to hold off on this until we get closer to stage 3? If we do, and just continue with the phone call first if I get any calls of anyone not abiding by that schedule, and then just work that from there instead of going right into these violations. That's what I want.
I personally like the phone call, the neighborly route, since you had 0 so far.
Not 0, but every time that we've been presented with it and went out, we had compliance once we notified them.
Okay, I would rather be the lesser strict, for lack of a better word.
Mhm.
You know, make the phone call, go and talk to them and I know in your manager talking points, you're asking for the permission for manager to make the
Mhm.
going into a different drought.
Yeah, to drop drought stages, not
Yeah.
to increase,
Yeah.
but yes, yeah, I think a conversation and some education is a good starting point.
What do you guys feel?
Well, given that it was a good test case since it was dry. And so for revenues, do you think the revenue drop in July was compensated for by the surcharges or not?
Almost to the percent.
Okay, so that means,
It's working.
just
working.
nailed it.
Yeah, it is working, yeah.
Alex, do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to say that I agree with Andy. If we're getting compliance out of people without having the threat of the fines being so immediate, and the people that are getting the verbal warnings are actually complying after that, I don't see any reason for us to do that. And then I think we should just give Andy the ability to move us in and out of drought stages when necessary. That would be my opinion.
Well, Alex, just only down, it would be good still for the board to vote as we escalate up if, you know.
Right, but we're looking more at down than up, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I just looked at the forecast and it's looking like we're gonna get some rain next week, so I'm totally cool with Andy having that ability.
Do we have, the monetary fines and penalties, is that a set based on something? Is that a picked number? What is the?
Yeah, it is set. There's a table 17 for non-compliance in the drought management plan. There's 1 through 4 for different violations. Of course, the first is a phone call.
Okay, so there is. Okay, because they both on the back, they just said monetary fines, 500, I think, on all of them. So that's why I was just thinking, I was wanting them to increase the level.
Yes, they
But
do.
it looks like they do. It's on the back of each one, it just says monetary fines, 500 per violation on each one. Instead of a change number, but it's a.
I think there's a typo.
It's up to, isn't it? Does it not say up to?
Oh, it does have to. Right, thank you. Sorry.
It's a little bit scarier.
Yeah, that's actually smart.
I think there's a typo on the second page of level 4, I think. 6 or 7, I think that stage 3 has to be changed to stage 4. You may have already done it since this was went out. Just in the level 4 letter.
Okay, we will look at that, make sure it's corrected.
Oh, yeah, caught it. Thanks, Glenn.
Perfect.
I'm a cut and paste master.
Well, that's awesome. But I do think that it's nice, like, I agree that once we hit stage 3, this becomes a lot more enforceable, but I think to your point, if somebody is gonna just try and kick the can down the road, and you're getting multiple calls on the same person.
Mhm.
I do think implementing it at a stage 2 would be reasonable, and I think that also respects the amount, because I'm assuming that basically this is, I know we don't have anybody working overnight, I know we don't have enough staff to oversee everything, so I'm assuming that this is a neighborly turn-in basis, so we also want to honor the people who are taking the time to actually present it.
Yes, exactly, and we need to make sure that we have enough evidence to start sending fines.
Yeah.
If you call on my property. And that's all you do is Andy is watering outside the schedule. Well, I can't just start slapping fines on you until I have some kind of proof.
Well, in stage 3, once I start paying a surcharge, because the reservoir levels are going down. I'm more inclined to call when somebody's violating.
Yeah, exactly.
You're paying a little bit, that over 4,000 gallons right now, but that surcharge kind of.
I've had quite a few people call.
Especially people who pay many surcharges, like you. Well, no, some people get hit harder by all this.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, no, I mean.
You never say it, but it's true.
Just people with kids too, I mean, holy cow, try and stand it for 1,000 gallons.
And you got shorten the car wash lengths?
I mean, again.
It's hard with the kids, I'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, the commercial does mainly kick in on stage 3, which I think is your on service, so, but, yeah.
Okay, I think.
Well,
plenty of
also you got to remember that
education-
it's 4,000 per EU. So once you start getting into commercial, if you have a commercial facility that has substantial number of EUs, you still may be okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Okay, Andy, you got any talking points?
Yeah, do any of you guys have any comments on the talking points that I sent out yesterday? And if not, I just had a couple extra ones.
I had one for you, Andy.
Yes, sir.
On the water loss, I didn't see the actual numbers on the water loss. I know that we're down from last year in percentage. How far are we down in gallons per minute? And what
Right
is like the
now-
equivalency there?
Yeah, so in July, the adjusted non-revenue gallons per minute loss is down to 366 gallons per minute. And that I did send, it was an attachment with my notes, Alex. And if you would like, I can resend that to you and provide you that information.
Maybe I just missed that. I just wanted to compare it to last year and see like what the gallons per minute difference was. Because I know we're selling less water, so I didn't know if that was going to contribute.
It would. It'll make that gallons even better.
Okay. So we are seeing actual real water loss, I guess, is what I'm saying. Not
Decreases.
just, yeah, not overall, even if we were at last year's sales numbers, we're still seeing way less.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
remember,
yes.
if the water loss doesn't care how much you sell. So if you're selling less water, and if the water loss stayed the same, that would imply that the water loss itself is going down in a gallons per minute basis.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, a leak is going to leak just the same, no matter how much production I made.
I figured, yeah. I've had some
Mhm.
questions on that, so I wanted some clarification.
So it's good. It's good. We're projecting in the right direction.
Yeah,
Thank you guys for that work.
It keeps dropping, and really a big trigger for that is our meter department staff going through looking for any kind of discrepancies in the meters or registers. The flow test program that we're sending meters out, every time we're sending meters out, we're catching at least 30 to 45% of those meters have some sort of issue, and mostly it's low flow under registering. It's those glasses of water or the toilet flushing. It's not so much irrigation, but a lot of glasses of water in one day. There's a lot of unaccounted water there.
Or even toilets running,
Mhm.
low flow issue.
Yeah.
And it's also that's also somewhat good news environmentally that water loss isn't really a drop of water is not lost. A drop of water is just not getting captured in our billing process, but it's not dropping out of the pipe and going away. So
yeah, it's not leaking on the ground. It's still running through the system. And as I am looking at doing some meter replacing in 2027, I'll be bringing that to the board here in a couple months.
That's
And
what we
it's
used-
starting to phase those old meters out.
Isn't that what we used to call paper loss?
Yes.
It's not going out underground, it's a
Yep.
internal calculation.
Mhm.
yeah, we're just
And this
we're not
time,
capturing
so
it in
much
bills.
a paper loss. It's a loss through the actual infrastructure. It's not a paper issue.
That's good to hear because it's got to be cheaper to fix meters than it is 300 plus miles of line. So
It's certainly easier to find.
yeah, definitely easier to find. Yeah.
A lot of that stuff on those low flows, we're probably not losing it financially either. Because remember, you're charged for 2,000 gallons to begin with, so it's when it gets above that we'd lose the revenue. So we need to fix that stuff because we need to capture it, but if you're gonna have some water loss, this is actually the best place to have it, in my opinion.
So useful.
It's the easiest place to track it and rectify.
Yep.
Good job, Ellen.
Oh, that's staff. I
No, but I'm just.
I push.
I'm just saying, good job for
Staff
everybody
does a good job.
in the position, because I think to find that out,
Mhm.
you know, to Alice's question point, I mean, if you're selling less water and the number is still significantly lower like it is, then that shows exponential difference, and maybe it'll help. I mean, it won't, but hopefully
Yeah,
it'll help the keyboard warriors slow down.
Yeah, and it's been several months now. The first month that we saw a good drop in the water loss, I told the board, it looks great, let's give it a little bit of time. Now we're getting pretty far through the summer and we're still seeing that trend. And we're still finding meters. There's 6,800 accounts to go through, meter by meter, and looking for not registering, or when we send them off for flow testing to get that data back and make sure, you know, all the way up to 35 gallons per hour, that those meters are registering above 98%.
Anything else on your talking points?
Yes, so one of the things we're getting closer and closer to finishing the Snowball water treatment plant. And we had a meeting this week with the contractor, and they had proposed that we could go ahead and do some kind of ribbon cutting ceremony or event up at the plant where we could invite the public to come up, see the facility. I had put kind of my breakdown of how I think that could go, but it's very early in the talks. But what I need from the board is dates. We will be done with construction by the end of September. So in October, either the first weekend of October or the second weekend of October is when I would like to schedule the event, either a Saturday or Sunday. I'd like to schedule the event from like 11 to 1 p.m. So just a couple hours that we could bring everyone up. Anyone that wanted to tour the facility, that would be structured. We can't just let the public roam around the building. I can have the water treatment operators up there with all senior management to take everyone through and answer questions and just show it off. It's a great plant. It's gonna provide water to this community for decades upon decades. So I wanted to see if the board would be okay with me moving forward, either that first weekend in October or that second weekend, and if it seemed appropriate for that time frame, just a couple hours.
So first weekend in October would be the 3rd and the 4th. The second weekend would be the 10th and the 11th.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it'd just be a single day, either Saturday or Sunday of either weekend.
No, I'm excited to. I don't know if we wanna, if the Mott's don't want, you know, parking, and I don't have a good feel. I don't think there'd be excuse me, a whole lot of people. But I hope I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but
And in a couple hours, that will help with a crowd too. I just want to make sure that we stay safe. It is a county road. It's right on the side of the road. There is quite a bit of parking up there in that for the new plant, but I'd like to put a tent up there as well. So we have a shelter space in case we don't have good weather, and we can, you know, get pictures.
and I would
And
hope we
coordinate
wouldn't have to do
tours.
anything like a shuttle from a downtown parking lot, you know, get a van or.
No, I'd like it. We'll
Keep it
talk to the Motts and see if they would be okay with using some of that, even if we need that overflow. We may not. There's still quite a bit of room there at that plant that we could park cars. But we just have no idea how big that event would be. And we'd just have to see the
If
curiosity
you
of
put
the public.
lines on the concrete for pickleball, it will actually be bigger.
So if the board doesn't really care either weekend, I can go ahead and just get that coordinated. I just wanted to put it out to you and see if I can get some feedback.
Start working on it.
Okay, the plan looks good so
Figured the
far.
second weekend, just to give them more time, just in case we have some complications or something like that. It just gives more preparation time.
Yeah, honestly, Alex, I was looking at that second Saturday in October from 11 to 1. Just to give them a little bit more time as well. Kind of right after our board meeting. Hopefully,
Okay.
some of the directors would be available and can come up and see the facility. It'd be great.
Use your discretion.
Okay. All right, a couple things that have just transpired since I sent this last night. The Hillcrest project, so we're working down on Hillcrest and South Seventh. The Hillcrest job will be completed next week, and what we did down there is replaced all of the water taps and service lines to all the meter pits because the town was coming through. They're going to tear up that road and repave it. I wanted to make sure that all of our infrastructure under that brand new road was replaced. So that'll be completed next week.
What condition is the main in?
The main is great. We hydroed the main in several different places, great shape, but it was single band saddles. And there could have been some loss in there. We'll see what the next month to 45 days bring. But now it's all gonna be brand new. So, and then the South Seventh job, we're working in coordination with CDOT. Just bringing across a brand new water line from Highway 160 past the bank into that alley. So all of that'll be new, and that'll take care of that old 4-inch steel line that in the last couple of years we've had a lot of issues with leaking down into the road and out into the highway. So that'll be all brand new, and that work actually starts next Wednesday. We have some night work that we're coordinating with CDOT, so we can just do one shutdown. Both CDOT and PAWSD can do the work that we need to do to get out of the highway and down onto South 7th Street. So, yeah. I'm finishing up. We got the purchase order today. We have the ability to record incoming calls now manually. The board had given me direction a couple months ago. I wanted that to be automated. And I worked with staff, and we did find a company that was able to do that. So that's going to be set up. It's very basic. It's just the incoming calls for the office staff here, but all of that will be auto recorded. And we'll keep those recordings for a month. As long as we don't have any issues, then we can dump that information and then bring in more. But hopefully that'll keep everyone on their best behavior and just to help our office staff, giving them another tool and something that they don't have to worry about. It'll just automatically happen. And that was $1,400 for the year for 5 services, 5 servers. So I thought that was a good deal.
So if I call your direct line at your office, is that recorded?
Not my direct line. It'll be all of the office staff, all the ladies that take the initial call.
I can still swear at you then.
You can, but I can manually record that. So we still have.
So is it gonna offer the this call is being recorded for quality assurance purposes or whatever at the beginning of the call? Okay, perfect.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Awesome. I
So
love it.
everyone will know as you call into the
That's
district.
a legal thing anyway.
Yeah, we have to. And that's all provided through this company. The Hatcher only dropped 1 more inch this week since Monday, our last drought update to this morning. I have staff measure that. So we're doing really good this little bit of rain, and
And the level is?
right now 32 inches and 3/4 down. Yeah. So we're doing good.
Very good number.
Yeah, the staff has worked extremely hard this year to try to save that water. Hatcher is the absolute top priority to keep that lake as full as possible. And thank goodness for the little bit of rains that we've been getting. I do see a correlation. Every day that it rains, we will drop 100 to 150,000 gallons of demand off Hatcher. And right now, as I said earlier, that's kind of eating up that extra demand for irrigation that we're seeing. So that's fluctuating, which is exactly what we want to see.
This might be a question for Justin. We'll start out with you. I know there's negotiations with the Dutton Creek Ranch going on for the pipeline. Is that a design it this year and construct next year, or get all the legal and the easements and agreements done this year, design it next year and construct it in 2028? What's that look like?
It's probably gonna be B. We are in negotiations right now with B. The Dun Creek Ranch is now the BN3 ranch. And we are in negotiations. You know, they sent us, you know, what they want. We countered, and so we're in that process right now. And just based on the timing, things aren't going all that fast. It's probably going to be designed next year, is my guess, unless things really pick up quickly.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, and one more thing, because it affects a lot of our water hauling customers. The Trailsville station has had issues periodically for the last 2 weeks. We lost the keyboard first. We got a new keyboard, or a keypad in, I'm sorry. And then now we're having issues with the screen. It'll reboot, run for a couple cycles, and then boot down. The staff ordered, that screen is the entire unit. All the software, we ordered a new one. That comes from Alberta, Canada. It is supposed to be here tomorrow. I do have staff ready when that shows up to get that installed. The other two, that's why this fill station is so busy. And it is a giant inconvenience, and I'm sorry for that, but I can't keep the entire screen program software on the shelf. We haven't had this happen without vandalism. But we are getting it resolved. So hopefully it ships, or hopefully it shows up tomorrow. We can get it in for the weekend, and then everything can go back to normal.
You got signage out there letting people.
Yeah, there's signage, and we put cones and caution tape out there today as well to just let everyone know. There's actually a sign as you pulled up and opened up that cabinet to be able to put in your code. There was a sign right there that it's down. We still had some people trying to get water out of it, so we toned it off today. So it's very clear that that site is down, and it'll be up as soon as possible. In case
signs like myself blind, I was like,
yeah, that Trailsville station is very busy.
busy.
Yeah, and those units have been in probably 2014. 2013, somewhere in there.
13 years.
Yeah, so they're getting older, and I did talk to our meter supervisor this year for budget to just look at that, see if it's cost effective or just beneficial to go ahead and start upgrading those, maybe get one upgraded, that we can have some spare parts on the shelf would be good. Those are my extra updates. Big win for us, the Moltz project over here, the Vista upgrade is almost done. They did seal up the clarifier today. We had to put water on it that sits with water in it, and for about a week. Next week, we'll introduce wastewater into it and start running the performance test on the clarifier scraper arm and the pumping. And then that project's complete. I expect the contractor to be totally out of here by the end of the month. And that project was in budget. We're actually getting back a couple $100,000 in contingency money. So fantastic program or project.
Good news.
That's cool.
$300,000. Don't cut yourself
it's
short.
Actually $300,000.
Does that help with this year's debt service coverage, if we get $300,000 back?
Off the top of my head, that's all gonna be capital stuff, so it's not really part of the. I'd have to confirm that, but it's capital, which is not part of the debt service calculation.
But it's money in the bank.
Oh, no one.
Yeah.
Congratulations to all of us, right?
Yeah.
Still a stoked moment. But
Yeah, great.
But yeah, when
On time,
allocated to something, it just can go.
On time and cash coming back is always a win.
I think Gene just said he wants you to all go on vacation.
It's just because it's cash that went out. capital connected to the bond. There's no way when the cash comes back, it is money that.
And the bond is not part of that debt service calc either. The debt service calc is really just your enterprise activities and your operating activities.
Those are all the extra updates that I had, if any of you have any questions.
So we'd have to take that 300 and actually, provided that loan permits it, pay down.
That would reduce your denominator.
Right.
That's part of, that would be a win to the debt service calculation, but that's a different activity than the
Right.
receiving the reduction of contingency.
Okay.
Justin, you're bringing back some gnarly barley with you?
This shirt's actually from Louisiana.
Oh. I'm just asking for a friend. Anything else for the board? Hearing nothing, do I hear a motion to adjourn? So moved. Second. Motion and second.
Carl has his hand up.
Carl, go ahead.
Hey, just to be clear, I didn't get the manager's report, so just to clarify, we're not gonna change our drought stage at this point. I mean, the river's low, that's the only thing I can see, so.
Yeah, not right now, Carl. If before the next board meeting, if we dropped back into stage one, we'll see what these rains look like and what they actually amount to. Then the board did give me authorization to drop from stage 2 to stage 1 without a special meeting. But no, currently right now, we are still in drought stage 2.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.